Hello, it is Joe, and I am in a forest full of sunbeams, as you can see. There are some of them. I love playing with the video on here. I reckon this would probably make a good audio podcast, but people wouldn't get the visual jokes, would they? Anyway, you know I love reaching out on different platforms, so who knows what's gonna happen. Today there are sunbeams in my hair. And there's a lot of hair in my hair. It's just about haircut time. I love having longer hair, short on the sides, long on top, so I can put stuff in it and make it look spiky. But, whew, with the warm weather and the amount of bicycling that I do, it's just impractical. It all turns into helmet head pretty fast. So, anyway, on a more serious note, welcome. I am Joe Neely, and I would like to talk with you today. Get something there. I'd like to talk with you today about how your ego is a good thing. We are taught that our egos are bad. We are taught not to compete. Today I'll be talking about ego mainly as the urge to compete. Anyway, we're taught not to compete. We're taught to, what is the word? Collaborate. We're taught to do what's good for the group, and that is healthy. But we end up pushing a part of ourselves, which is our ego drive to compete for status. Both men and women compete for status, sometimes in the same ways, sometimes in different ways. And we're taught that this is bad. We're taught to push it down, and that it's unhealthy, and that we shouldn't pursue things that we want for ourselves, whether that's money. Many people are taught that money is bad, that we shouldn't pursue worldly pleasures or worldly advancement. And so we end up pushing down our drive. We end up pushing down our ambition. Now, collaboration is good. Doing what's good for the world is a wonderful thing. Let's compete like an Elon Musk who, runs Tesla and is making electric cars cool and is, working on putting people on Mars and trying to, save the Earth's environment so we can keep living here. Let's compete in that arena. It's not that competition is bad, it's that competing for certain things can be bad. And certainly the ends don't justify the means. If you end up, doing a job you hate in order to get something you want, that's not healthy. But at the same point, I don't believe the ego is bad. I don't believe the drive is bad. And as far as practical techniques go, what I've been doing is when I feel certain so-called negative emotions, I redefine them as drive, as competitiveness, as ego, whether these emotions and sensations are actually from there, I'm just redefining them as such. And I have a little zit right there. Oh my gosh. It's adorable. So, as you guys know, I don't own a mirror, but then when I turn on the video, I notice little things like, oh my gosh, this is how I look today. The minimalist life. Everything I own has many purposes, so that I can, put everything I own on my bicycle and ride away. Anyway, I love multi-purpose stuff. But let's get back to this topic before the video becomes too multi-purpose. So, ego, drive, things like frustration. We're frustrated because we want something and we don't have it, or we want something and we've invested a certain amount of effort and we don't have it. And our emotions are hardwired into us. We can work with them, but they are pretty hard, if maybe firmware, if not hardware, certainly deep within us. And if we try something and it doesn't work, our minds tell us, stop, don't do that, do something else, that's not working. Now, in the environments that we grew up in as a species, evolved in as a species, there were only so many things to do. You know, fight, fuck, eat, sleep, drink water, run away from animals, run towards animals, pick berries, a few other things. We only had so many options. And so, having fears, you know, basic fears like if someone is larger than you, don't make them angry. Or, you know, if you try something, maybe a creative task, maybe you have an idea for a new invention, like fire or the wheel or something, and, you know, you try banging the rocks together and you get some sparks and you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. But then you keep banging them together, nothing happens. You haven't figured out how to turn those sparks into fire. And you play with it for a while, but then your mind tells you, maybe going out there, getting some food and water, attracting a healthy mate, maybe these are good for you. Maybe this is something you should do so you don't die. If you bang those rocks together all day, you're not going to eat. Or the people in your tribe are going to have to feed you, and they may not be into that. Of course, if you create fire, they may very well be into feeding you because you're the guy who created fire, and what will you create next? So, anyhow, that's the trick. You know, you got to bang the rocks together for a really long time until you can figure out what to do with those sparks, you know, and how to create a fire. And, you know, humans, in fact, kept fires going for, gosh, years? They would find fire that was created by lightning strikes and just feed those fires. So they knew about that, I assume, well before our ancestors actually got around to creating it on their own. So, fascinating stuff. That's what I'm talking about today. Your mind will tell you, stop. You're exerting yourself too much. Stop. You're frustrating yourself too much. I mean, the frustration emotion is the, hey, do something more practical emotion, right? Go do something that we know works. Don't gamble as much. Thing is, in today's world, gambling pays off. I mean, not in the casino, but, you know, in the business world, in the scientific world, going out there and exploring and trying to do new things is exactly what makes us successful in life. When we create systems and products and services and ideas that, you know, help everybody, we become successful. You know, we become valuable to the community. It's like the guy making fire who gets supported by his community because now he's a wizard, and what will he do next? You know, what will he create? So, for me, I've been working at a new income stream of pushing forward my Tasty Spandals brand. I love that it's called Tasty Spandals. As you know, Spandalganj is a word I made up long ago, and Spandals is just, you know, kind of a nickname, plural version of Spandalganj. I guess loosely translated it means something like tasty treats, but it's not quite what it means, but it's pretty close. Anyway, yes, I've branded myself with, or my business, with a little piece of myself, a silly little piece of myself that I really enjoy. And I think that's a really fun way to put my personality into my marketing and branding, which is kind of what I've expected. It just got to happen, so that's neat. But, like I'm saying, competition. If I push forward on this new income stream, if I push forward on my brand, and I don't see immediate results, maybe I work on it every day for a few weeks. That's pretty much how long I've been working on it, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe a little research before that. But yeah, if I, you know, for a person on the African savannah, one of my great-great-grandmothers to, you know, spend 2 or 3 weeks working on something that hasn't paid off yet, you know, she would be very wise to go do something else, to put her efforts into something else. And we have to reframe our instincts and our primal emotions because they're perfect for the environment that they were in long ago, and we need to reassign them, reframe them. like I said, when I feel frustration, I reframe it as drive. I'm frustrated because I have a drive to do something and it hasn't paid off yet. And as a tribal African savanna band of scavengers species, we're not comfortable with long-term gain. Short-term gain is much more, visible, practical. So I know that when I feel the desire to give up and do something else, when I feel frustrated, that I need to keep going. I'm frustrated because I have a desire that hasn't been met with a certain amount of invested energy. Okay, great. So let's go for it. Other emotions, exertion. When I ride my bicycle, I've really started to understand exertion better. I'm a person who always felt uncomfortable sweating, felt uncomfortable with physical exertion. I don't know why. If when I exerted myself as a young child, I wasn't rewarded for that behavior, either by my parents or my peers, I don't know. But for some reason, I've always felt that exertion made me, weak or vulnerable. Maybe I would try to do something and I would not succeed, or I wouldn't do it as quickly as the other people, or, you know, whatever it is. If you come in last in a foot race, you feel bad, so maybe you stop doing foot races. I don't know how it works. I don't remember a specific event in my life when this happened, but that's my guess, is that because I came up younger and smaller than my peers until high school when I got tall, which is very, very fun. I like being tall. But, being a small person growing up, maybe physical exertion didn't pay off and it led to, trying to compete with other people on an uneven playing field, and, probably the standard cruelty that children have for each other, because, children are incredibly status driven. Not that adults aren't, just that children don't hide it as well, I guess. Adults learn to temper it with other desires. Whether adults genuinely want to help the group or whether they're just giving it lip service, they at least have learned that's something you might want to try, to fit in better. But young people compete very, very obviously. So who knows? I could maybe explore myself deeper and come up with some reasons, but for some reason, physical exertion has always seemed negative to me, and I'm learning to reframe it. A few years ago, I got into weightlifting quite a bit and was learning to reframe exertion as muscles, not as wasted energy or something that's going to lead to derision. Instead, moving forward a few years, I found with my bicycle trip, and lifestyle, it's become a lifestyle. It's not a trip anymore. It's been, oh gosh, 9 months, 10 months at this point that I've been on the road. I think it'll be 10 months at the end of May. Gosh, wow. Who would have thought I could have kept that lifestyle going for that long? But yeah, it's going to be a year soon. Wow. Anyway, as I become a cyclist, I've learned not to feel bad about heat. If I overheat and I start sweating, I expect people to accept me. Accept. Those words are a little too close. But I wish the transcribers the very best. So, I expect people to accept me the way I am. That I am sweaty, or maybe I have a bit of an odor because I was riding my bike earlier in the day and I haven't changed my clothes yet, or whatever it is. I expect people to understand that I am a adventure hero. Now that I know people are transcribing these videos, I'm correcting my grammar. That's silly. I have to remember to do that after the fact when I'm editing the transcriptions, not while I'm thinking. Oh, that's silly. Anyway, back to it. I know that people will accept me exactly the way that I am, as an adventurer, as someone who's living a freedom lifestyle, as someone who is heroically and bravely going out there and living a dream that many people have and a few people will try out and enjoy. I'm not saying that I'm any better than other people. I'm not saying that I'm any more than others who choose different lifestyles. I'm just going to live this one to the fullest because it suits me. I know a lot of people dream of selling everything they own that doesn't fit on their bicycle and then riding all around and, working online and being free and being your own boss and going wherever you want, going where the good weather is, all that kind of stuff. I know people dream about that. And I encourage people to try it. It's not for everybody. Some people have different lifestyles and different paths and different dreams. But give it a shot, you know. Try it in miniature. Get on your bike with a few things and ride off into the woods for a night and come back to your home with the rest of your stuff that you haven't thrown away. You know, give yourself time to try out lifestyles. This isn't something I jumped into quickly. It took me years and years of different plans and different ideas and different structures to find something that worked for me. And who knows? There's many, many different ways to travel. Whether you're living in hotels and eating caviar, or whether you're just hitchhiking and you don't even have a bicycle. Maybe you're one of the van people. There's all kinds of different ways to get free and to travel, to have location independence. So try things, try them in miniature, try many different things and see what suits you. You don't have to copy me. That being said, I'll tell you how I do it. I'll answer your questions. But I've learned through this trip so many different things, and that's, of course, the point of these videos, is to share everything with you that I learned on my trip. Not where I am, what I saw, what I did. I'm not going to describe to you too many of the natural wonders or cultural wonders that I discover. A few, but this isn't really a travel vlog. This is a personal development video series. This is a watch me grow and hopefully it will inspire you video series. So, I know I'm tangenting quite a bit today, but the main theme that I keep coming back to is strong, and that is reframing negatives. Like I said, exertion is my drive. When I feel hot and sweaty, that's my drive. That's not a negative. When I feel frustrated that something hasn't happened yet, that's my drive for it to happen soon. I can reframe a ton of different emotions. I know I've given you a couple examples, but there's probably 3, 4, 5 of them that I have just reframed automatically in my head of certain negative emotions that when I feel them, I just reframe them as not negative. I reframe them as, a positive thing, a positive work ethic. We have such a negative work ethic in our culture that basically you are shit and you should work until you die so that you and your family don't starve, and suffer. That's pretty much our work ethic, and it's really nasty. We need to have a work ethic that says work feels good. I enjoy doing work. I feel good when I exert myself. I feel good when I push my limits. I feel good when I don't give up. These are the attitudes that we need to put together. Unfortunately, as children, people want us to work hard, so they tell us all of these negative things and then punish us if we don't believe these negative things about ourselves. Well, why would we believe negative things about ourselves? We know deep down that we're wonderful people. So, yes, if you have contact with young people, reward them for effort, reward them for curiosity. Don't reward them for achievement, because if they have a natural talent for something, they'll just, learn that rewards and acknowledgement don't mean anything because they didn't try to get what they wanted. Likewise, if they have a hard time with something, they won't see it through. Really reward young people for character. Some people are really good at this. Some families are really good at rewarding young people for character, for effort, for diligence, for persistence, without being negative when they don't do those things. allowing them to experiment and change and be themselves. So, I have a lot of opinions about how people should raise young people because, I feel that my parents could have done better. I bet they feel their parents could have done better. I bet that is pretty normal that everybody feels that way. Um, some of us have really good parents. Some of us have one good parent and one not so good parent. Some of us have two parents who just didn't know what they were doing at all. Um, it's interesting to see that, to even kind of identify these people in the world, um, and see how they function in the world, based on what they got growing up, the hand they were dealt growing up. And, of course, whether or not they transcend that or wallow in it is up to them. So anyway, yeah, I'm reframing a bunch of negatives that I got when I was young. I'm trying to be, compassionate about all the people who trained me to feel negative about different things in my life, different aspects of myself that I need to feel positive about. So, yeah, it's an ongoing personal kind of adventure, but, you know, my cyclist's digital nomad's journey is also an entrepreneur's journey. And as I work towards having my own business and having my own brand and having my own new sense of self and new attitudes and new reframed experiences, I grow and I want to share that with you. So, like I said, I gave you a couple examples today, and I may give you some more in the future of these things we can reframe. I'm getting good at reframing. I naturally reframed a bunch of negatives as drive, as ambition, as persistence, as success, as entrepreneurship, as diligence. Some of that comes from watching videos. I watch a lot of videos, even more than I create, if you can believe it. And I'll watch videos about people who went through all kinds of difficulties on their entrepreneurship journeys. And I know that going all in is one of the things that can create success. As a young person, I learned that, showing off my talents was a way to have success. But also, going all in on something, getting rid of all my stuff that didn't fit on the bike and traveling from state to state, well, that was going all in, you know? And I'm learning to do that business-wise. That being said, I need to go. I need to go work on my business. I'm eager to go push it forward and see what happens and move ahead my plan, my kind of marketing plan that I've had for the week of really doing some massive testing and really approaching sales and marketing from a scientific and mathematical approach, perspective. I'm really looking at how I can use my love of spreadsheets and math and numbers and figures the right way, I'm not the kind of person who wants to spend 12 hours a day doing math and figures, but I do find them pretty enticing and enjoyable. And I'm trying to use the part of me that wants to look at that stuff, 2 or 3 hours a day, use that part of me to the best possible advantage, use the part of me that wants to talk to you to the greatest possible advantage. Use the part of me that wants to try new things. Use the part of me that doesn't. All the different bits of me and my personality, aligning them up, aligning myself and all the different aspects of myself to the greatest advantage to get all the things that I want in life. So, I'm getting a little abstract. I feel like I've made my point. Reframe negative sensations and emotions. And look out for some more examples. I find myself doing this naturally, which is great, but I don't always remember the examples, so I'll see if I can't give you a few more in the next couple days. Come to joeneely.net, click on the community tab, click on the blog tab, learn more about me and how you can connect with me on various platforms and how you can connect with each other. The community tab is really good for that. So come to joeneely.net, check it all out, and yes, check out Tasty Spandles too. I anticipate a really fun and whimsical ad campaign on Facebook and beyond. So that's it. That's me for today. I love you all very much, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. Bye bye.